What's maybe the biggest takeaway from that road trip that you want to apply here at home for the next 5 and start?
I think there's a level of desperation for obvious reasons, and I think the results were good. Obviously, if you look at the Washington game, I think there's some stuff that you'd want back, but we come back home here. It's important that we keep that desperation and that urgency, and so we'll look to do that tonight. But we're not taking our foot off the gas. We have to keep playing well and keep building our game.
Can you describe maybe that extra layer of motivation, given that you've been kind of crawling back into this thing?
Yeah, I think that's just where we're at right now. We have to be motivated, we have to be desperate, and it's not the ideal spot to be in, but that's where we're at. So we're looking at it like a good opportunity for us, and it's been a good week or so. I think that trip was a good opportunity for us to kind of prove to ourselves that we can play a brand of hockey that can win games, and we can be proud of, and so. Again, we'll look to build on that here tonight. Honestly, I think you try not to worry about who's in or who's out too much. Yeah, for sure. It's a team game, and I think Austin has been out, Chris has been out. You try not to worry about personnel. You got to go out there and do your job. And, there's always changes with who's in or who's out, or roles and responsibilities, but it's important that we just keep our focus and not worry about that, and just keep trying to play good hockey.
What have you noticed about Dennis? Sometimes at times being thrown into tough situations.
Yeah, that's often the case with goalies who maybe get called up, or not long-term starters. You often get like a back-to-back or something like that, and I think he's just done an outstanding job. Even though he came in the other night, that's not an easy spot, and he's just been calm and collected, and he's played really, really well.
Is there anything that the defense knows about Dennis that impacts the way you guys play in front of him?
No. Like I said, I don't think he changed too much depending on.
What's this matchup? We're into Montreal. What do they do that you guys are sort of mindful of?
Yeah, they have a lot of skill and speed, and they're deep, and I think they play with a lot of pace. We watched some video this morning, and there's pressure all over the ice, and obviously they're dangerous offensively, and when they get rolling around the offensive zone, it looks like the puck's moving quickly, and they're shooting lots of pucks on net. And so it's important that we're prepared for that, and I think we will.
Can I ask about playing your 900th game tonight? I don't see a hat or remember to keep it.
No, it's bullshit. But, no, it's just one of those things. I've been lucky to be here for as long as I have, and I just try not to take anything for granted. It's just been a lot of fun.
I don't really have a theory on the overtime games.
The one's over.
But I think, I don't want to say the league was top heavy for a while, but there was certainly a few teams that were rebuilding in kind of transition mode, and it's been feeling like the same few teams for the last number of years, where they've been kind of gearing up with good seasons, and obviously looking to make a push for the Stanley Cup. So you sense some of these younger teams, some of the youth that they've been building, really starting to come along and make a push, and just really making the league really, really competitive. So I think it's just a constant flow, and probably evolution of trajectory of different teams and different players, and how things kind of evolve over time. So I just think some of the teams that have been building for a few years are really starting to push.
You made it Dennis has performed in the times that he's had to come in.
Who's that, sorry?
Dennis.
Yeah, he's been great. Obviously, he's got some experience. And I think he's just pretty easygoing guy. Doesn't seem let too much bother him. And obviously, with his size and skill set, I think has good understanding of what he can do and who he is as a tender, and has been real strong for us and given us a great opportunity to win hockey games. So we got to continue to do the job in front of him.
You guys have tried a couple of different looks in the power play. It looks like what you carried over from late last game and going to this one. What do you think is the key to breaking through?
We just got to execute. We got to bear down, and we have great personnel, and it's going out there and executing, being determined, finding our way through to break through and build some momentum, and really make it something that's been a strength for us for a long time, and something that can come up big for us in games and make a big difference. So we just got to continue to stay at it. New opportunity today, so try to build together here.
John, apologies if it's repetitive.
Yeah.
Just one thing, if you could take from that road trip and make sure you apply it here at home tonight, what is that?
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs talked a lot about just, I think just making plays when they're there. I think, at times you don't want to be over-aggressive and trying to do too much. So it's always that balance of making plays when they're there, being aggressive, but being smart and managing the game. And we've talked a lot about that, and there's a real balance to it. And I think that's kind of come along here for us. And I like our four-line attack and the way, obviously, all our deep pairings have been playing. You can kind of sense kind of the group building a good identity there, and the ability to kind of come at you wave after wave.
You just saw Montreal recently. Biggest challenge they provide?
Yeah, I mean, their speed and their skill as good as any team in the league, not just up front, but from their back end as well. So we know how dynamic they can be, and certainly, they've been building for a number of years. Obviously, had a great year last year, and proving to be a really, really good team, and just always presents you that challenge of being aware of their ability to create plays and create offense, and how they get so many people involved in the attack. So our play away from the puck, and even with it, and being smart will be important tonight.
Have you got some pearls left here?
Do I got some pearls left?
Pearls of wisdom?
I got nothing.
Well, let's start real basic, and maybe the road trip. And if you could pick one thing that you guys liked outside of the results, what would you bring to make sure you apply that here at home?
Yeah, I think it was just the way we responded after that, that last few weeks before that road trip. I think it was nice to kind of get out of town and just have the team and the management and coaches and just the people inside the organization together and just kind of chip away one step at a time. And I think that was kind of our mindset there on the road. We knew it was going to be 5 games, so we just took it one segment at a time. And I think that's kind of what made us successful is we weren't, thinking about the next game. We weren't thinking about the schedule coming up. It was just, okay, who's our opponent tonight? What do we have to do to bring our best tonight against this team and be ready for puck drop and then execute? So we did that. It was just kind of a shift at a time. And we weren't perfect. We definitely made some mistakes in some of those games, but those have been addressed, and we've gone over those in video, and ultimately, it was a great road trip for our team.
Yeah, what is the secret to doing that at home? Or is it just kind of doing what you just said, just kind of attack it and shift one period?
Yeah, you have to do that. Sorry about that. Sometimes it's harder to do that once you get going into the season, and there's obviously momentum, and that can play a factor sometimes, but it's the NHL. You got to try and find that energy to get ramped up for every single game. And Saturday night at home against the Montreal Canadiens, it's going to be hard to not be ready for this one, right? And I think we owe these guys after what happened last game too.
Is this a different group as a result of what you learned on the road trip? Are you a different group coming home?
Kind of feels like that. Yeah, I think you get that sense. Just seeing the guys around the room this morning, and I think everybody's got a little bit more. I think it feels like we got our confidence back. Beating teams like Florida and Carolina that they play hard, they don't give you much time and space, they smother you. It forces you to, not make cute plays and not turn pucks over. You have to kind of fork pucks out and win the blue line battles, and you have to get on their D and have all three guys, all 4 lines connected on the forecheck to be able to, turn pucks over and get them back and get opportunities. So it says a lot about our group beating teams like that. I think that confidence that we got from that road trip is going to be huge going forward.
You just saw Montreal recently, and you mentioned them just a moment ago. Obviously, it's still top of mind. What is the key to kind of finding your game and putting them in their place?
I think first period's huge for us tonight. We need to come out and kind of make a statement. That doesn't mean run around and try and run them out of the building. I think it's just playing hard, finishing checks, playing the simple game that we played on the road. We can't change it up just because the opponent is, plays a different kind of style. I think if we stick to our game and what we do best, I think that's a recipe for success. We're obviously going to know their tendencies are a little different than, your Carolinas, your Floridas. They got a little more freedom to their game. They like to make the seam passes and stuff, and they got some physical players on their team too. So if we do a good job putting pucks in the right spots, as long as we get a good F3 tracking back, I think we're going to be good.
Craig, what's the update on Wall beyond?
He'll be a week, hopefully. That's right now. That's where he's at.
Better than you expected, or just given the fallout after the
No, not better. I mean, better would be he's ready to go tonight, but that's not the case. But yeah, no, I mean, we're not expecting it to be too long. I'm not going to comment too much on it. 1 week.
Do you go with Dennis the whole week through, or do you look for AA to kind of get?
Well, I'm just going to focus on Dennis going tonight. We'll play it out. We'll play it by a year after that and where we're at. But we have a little bit of room here this week with. I know we play Monday again, so it's a quick turnaround there. But we have a little time, so there's a possibility that he could, go the distance here.
What's the mental challenge for your group when both your starting goalies are out?
I don't think the mindset changes. I don't. I just think you just go out and keep playing. We come off a trip, had a great trip, but it's about not being complacent tonight and being ready to go from the drop of the puck here tonight. I don't think much changes with our game on who's in net. Dennis has played well for us. Came in the other night and did a good job, so we have confidence in Dennis.
In general, with all the injuries, this year feels different. Like you've just been more cursed, for lack of a better word, than anything else.
I've been involved in this before with injuries. It's part of it, and it's been tough for sure with the injury part of things. But you just got to, other guys are coming in and stepping up, and that's the job. That's why you got extra players and filling holes and playing well and getting an opportunity, a bigger opportunity, and it's just next man up, right mentality. So I don't get surprised from another injury.
You guys were going through a rough patch last time we talked to you here in this building. What do you think the road did for the group to just get?
Well, I was, we got to, going on the road a lot of times. The guys that's it. You're together. You're playing hockey. They're together all the time. They kind of just formed some closeness on the road, and I thought that our team took that onto the ice. To be honest with you, that's what I saw.
How good was it to have guys like Tanev and Rafai?
Yeah, it was great to see both of them out there. Tanny will get looked at this week, and hopefully it's good news, and he can get more involved here.
Well, you changed the look on the power play last game, going back into it. Is it just a matter of execution that you're trying to get from them, or is there something different you're trying to kind of look?
Well, obviously it's execution, right? I think power play in general is about execution and urgency. They had some plays that they made. I thought Cowan made a couple nice plays to guys for really good opportunities that didn't go in. But, with Cowan, he's the guy, he's the one guy that he makes a lot of plays. He's got great vision, and he can really work, hash marks down area and make some plays to our guys that are shooters. So that's a look.
You've given tons of pregame speeches. We've all seen the ones in the playoffs, but you can't do the same speech every night. But what goes into a pregame speech for you?
I think it's who you're playing and the significance of things, where we're at. I think a lot of, throughout the season, it's sort of where the team's at, what they need at that moment. Maybe they don't even need to hear me too much, you got to have a feel for it all. And that's really what my pregame speeches go into. It's a feel thing. It's knowing your team, where they're at, what they need, who we're playing, the opponent. Those things all go involved in it. Yeah.
You spoke to the minor hockey coaches.
Yeah.
Is there a message, an underlying message you want them to take away from something like this?
No, I don't know. I was just trying to give them, my perspective of how I go about things and practice today and what was the reasoning we did these things and stuff like that. And, it was a lot of it, why did I get into coaching? Talking about why I got into coaching and why I love coaching and why I like to be involved in the game. I think as a player, there was nothing better than playing the game. I had an opportunity to play a long time in this league. I was very fortunate, and I'm like, why do I want to get into coaching? To stay in the game and be in the locker room, and be part of a team. That's the best thing in the world, in my opinion. Nothing better.
What's the number one question like minor hockey coaches or young coaches ask you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a lot of coaches, ask about accountability and what goes into it. You know, I think that's the biggest thing. And yeah, you know, and the other thing they ask a lot is like, I think too many coaches, and it's just my opinion, they want to change, and try new things. It's not about that. It's about sticking with the process and beating it into your team, not beating it into, you know what I mean, mentally. Of this is the way we want to do things, right? Like you can't just jump around and change things all the time because things aren't working. You got to stick with things, and you know, for me, it's about just stick with the process and keep banging away at it and keep working at it. You know, but a lot of people will always want to know about accountability. You know? It's always a question that comes up everywhere.
Frank, what do you think unlocked things for that Law line where they stack together games in a row here now?
Puck possession for me. I mean, I think Nick Waugh does a great job of hanging on to pucks. He's very strong, and I thought, you know, that gets Bobby and Joshua down there in the offensive zone, and they're a big, heavy line, right? So they possess pucks down there, and they're doing a great job of getting to the net too. So offensively, you got two big guys at the net, and they're getting pucks into that area, and they're scoring some goals because of it. And they've all been really responsible defensively, which we need. It's a good line that I can throw out there in D zone against anybody, and which I have, and matchups and things like that. That makes it easier on that end of things to get some certain matchups. But you know, size and you know, I think, you know, they're obviously forming chemistry now. You know, and Bobby McMahon's speed drives a lot of it. You know, with his speed.